You're watching WION with me, Aisha Sindhu. All the latest from South Asia and the world coming up in the next half hour. First up, a look at the headlines. Attack on American university in Kabul leaves 12 dead, including 7 children. Wednesday, 6.2 earthquake in Italy leaves 247 dead, many more injured. Monsanto pulls new GM cotton seed from India in protest. MQM's jail leader Wasim Akhtar elected as Karachi City Mayor. And Ireland's top scorer Robbie Keane to end his international football career. Agrochemical giant Monsanto has withdrawn an application seeking approval for its next generation of genetically modified cotton seeds in India. Monsanto's move is a major escalation in a long-running dispute between New Delhi and the world's biggest seed maker. A letter sent by Monsanto's partner in India strongly objects to a government proposal that would force Monsanto to share its technology with local seed companies. The decision to pull the application will ramp up the pressure on Prime Minister Modi's efforts to make India more attractive to foreign investors. But it could also set back many years of Monsanto's efforts to introduce its new seed technology and lead to further losses for the company. One of the 6 convicts in the infamous Delhi gangrape case of 2012 attempted suicide in jail on Wednesday night. Reports suggest that Vinay Sharma tried to hang himself in jail after consuming unknown pills. He, alongside 5 others, was found guilty of raping a 23-year-old in a moving bus in Delhi. The incident had sparked public outrage, leading to a full revamp of laws related to criminal offences and juvenile justice in India. The leader of Pakistan's MQM party, Wasim Akhtar, has won Karachi's mayor elections while still behind bars. Akhtar was arrested on suspicion of providing shelter and medical treatment to militants and criminals last month. He plans to run the city from the prison.
Wasim Akhtar, the leader of the MQM political party, has been elected mayor of Karachi. He arrived at the Municipal Corporation building earlier in the day to cast his ballot in the final round of the mayoral elections. Akhtar has vowed to run Pakistan's largest and richest city from his prison cell. He was arrested on suspicion of aiding militants and criminals.
शुक्रिया कराची जिन्होंने इतने मुश्किल हालात के पाकिस्तान में ऐसा इंतखाब ये तारीख में लिखा जाएगा कि ऐसा इंतखाब पाकिस्तान में माजी में कभी नहीं हुआ.
MQM has dominated the politics and commerce in Karachi for decades, but in the last few years, security forces have arrested scores of MQM members, accusing them of torture, murder and racketeering. Pakistani law allows politicians to govern from police custody, but it is not clear how Akhtar will run the city from his prison cell. The courts are not expected to release him before he takes his oath, a ceremony likely to be held on August 30th. Bureau Report, WION.
Afghan police have confirmed that 12 people have died in yesterday's attack on Kabul's American universities. The fatalities include 7 students. Suspected militants attacked the campus of the American University in Kabul last evening. The assailants opened fire and then detonated explosives inside the university's compound. The siege came to an end when the security forces killed 2 suspected militants. 44 people sustained injuries in the attack. The United States has expressed concern over the strike. Washington says it is closely monitoring the situation in Kabul. This is the 2nd attack on the university this month. France announced a new set of security measures to protect its schools against potential attacks. In this latest effort, even the youngest students in school will be taught how to react, hide and keep quiet in case of a strike. France has borne the brunt of multiple terror attacks in the last year. Take a look.
French Education Minister Najat Vallaud-Belkacem and Interior Minister Bernard Cazeneuve unveiled a series of measures to increase the protection of its schools in the event of an attack.
Tout au long de l'année, une attention particulière sera portée aux abords des établissements. La surveillance dynamique à proximité des écoles, collèges, lycées, universités sera renforcée par des patrouilles mobiles.
The pupils will undergo basic training on life-saving measures. The drills will also target the younger school children. Other measures include training of school staff and first aid training for older school children. France has already increased its security forces around Jewish schools and places of worship after Islamist attacks that killed 17 people in January last year at the satirical weekly Charlie Hebdo and at its Jewish supermarket. Bureau Report, WION.
A 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck central Italy early on Wednesday, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The death toll has climbed to at least 247. Many people are still trapped beneath the rubble of collapsed buildings. This was the strongest earthquake the country has seen since the one that hit L'Aquila in 2009. More than 300 people died in that quake.
A powerful 6.2 magnitude earthquake hit central Italy early on Wednesday, bringing with it devastation and death. A string of mountainous towns flattened, trapping residents under piles of rubble.
Pure dietro? Un po' sì. Gliela fa respirare un po'? Gliela fa? Poca roba. Però l'importante è allora di stare tranquilli. Adesso stanno arrivando anche i vigili. Cerchiamo di toglierli questa perché noi stiamo aspettando per non fargli fa male, va bene? Perché
This video shows a man desperate for help. He is trapped under the debris in the rural village in Umbria. Another survivor recounts his horror.
No, sì, questa casa stavamo su in cima, la casa è crollata, mi sono salvato, grazie a Dio, speriamo che anche tutti quanti gli altri si salvano, però ecco, sono 2 ore e mezza che sto qui, che in mutande nessuno...
Aid workers were bringing in food and basic supplies to the hardest struck towns. Rescue efforts were complicated at Pescara del Tronto due to the damage caused at bridges. Prime Minister Matteo Renzi cancelled a planned trip to France for meeting with European leaders to oversee the disaster response.
Nei momenti di difficoltà l'Italia sa come fare. Nei momenti in cui le cose non vanno, l'Italia tutta intera, tutta insieme mostra il suo volto più bello. E allora prendiamo l'impegno da qui oggi, da Palazzo Chigi, che non lasceremo nessuno da solo, nessuna famiglia, nessun comune, nessuna frazione e mettiamoci al lavoro perché le prossime ore possiamo continuare.
Italy is situated in a seismic zone, often shaken by earthquakes, usually centered on the mountainous spine of the boot-shaped country. This is the worst tragedy since 2009, when more than 300 people were killed because of an earthquake. Bureau Report, WION.
Turkey began its first coordinated offensive against Syria on Wednesday. The move is aimed at driving out Islamic State terrorists from its border. Turkey also aims to stop the Kurdish militia from making any further gains. Special forces, tanks and jets backed by a US-led coalition led the attack. Here's more.
A brigade of tanks crossed into northern Syria with Turkish-backed Syrian rebels to push out IS terrorists from Jarablus. President Erdogan says the operation targeted Islamic State and the Kurdish PYD party, whose gains in northern Syria have alarmed Turkey.
Bakın bu sabah 4 itibariyle Suriye'nin kuzeyinde sürekli ülkemizi oradan tehdit eden DAEŞ, PYD gibi terör örgütlerine yönelik bir operasyonu ordumuz başlatmış durumda. Güvenlik güçlerimiz başlatmış durumda.
US Vice President Joe Biden arrived in Turkey, which has NATO's second biggest army force, hours after the operation kicked off. It was a pre-planned trip. Biden is the most senior US official to make a trip to Turkey after last month's failed coup. The offensive comes less than a week after a suicide bomber with possible links to IS killed more than 50 people at a wedding in the city of Gaziantep. Biden's visit comes at a testing time for relations between US and Turkey, after Turkey says that the US did not extradite Muslim cleric Fethullah Gulen, who is living in exile in Pennsylvania for nearly 20 years. Erdogan wants Gulen sent back to Turkey, but the US says it needs more clear evidence of being involved in last month's coup. Bureau Report, WION.
Yemen's Saudi-backed exiled government has announced steps to cut the country's central bank off from the outside world. The bank has voiced concerns over the move, saying it will create further divisions in the country. The move is aimed at using economic pressure to defeat Houthi fighters who have ruled the capital and most of northern Yemen for nearly 2 years. If the government's plan goes through, the Houthis may struggle to pay state employees, including teachers, doctors and soldiers. Many have spoken up against the move, saying it risks destroying the only lifeline available to millions of impoverished Yemenis. Colombia's government has reached a final peace agreement with Marxist FARC rebels, ending a half-century-old civil war. This and more news on the other side. Stay with us.